Hey guys, I'm learning TFT and I'm sharing my learnings with you so that you can learn and I can learn better as well. In this video, I'm going to share with you a Challenger study group session that we just had talking about 16.1 openers and line selection based off of MetaTFT's early analysis. We basically went through all of the major stage 2 boards and looked at what lines those boards led into, what item slams we might want to make, how to strategically navigate those lines, and where we would end up as a result of playing that opener. If you are interested in joining TFT Dojo, which is where this study group took place, as well as get first dibs on playtesting for the product and community, that learning community that Virtual and I are building, take a look at the timestamp take a look at the description below for TFT Dojo to sign up and apply. With that said, I hope you enjoy this study session. I know I got a lot out of it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, so I did an analysis like this, I think 2 sets ago. My intent is to go through stage 2, these kind of most popular, highest win rate and play rate stage 2 boards. This isn't perfect because I think MetaTFT's analysis won't capture lower play rates ones, like for example 3 costs. But I think it gives us a general idea, and my intent here is to go through, basically put together the boards, figure out what general item slams you would prefer, and then we can use this transitions to figure out what it looks like in stage 3, and ultimately map this to an end game like stage 4, stage 5 board, so that we can kind of figure out all the branching factors of where we can go and what item slams. That's kind of my high level game plan for this. I haven't done this approach in a while, so definitely open to feedback if you guys have ideas on how to better optimize this as well. Sound reasonable to you guys? Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. So let's just start with the top one: Viego, Ash, Jinzhou, Yorick. I was surprised to see this one at the top.
Yeah, it's a bit biased, right? You can only unlock Yorick if you have a Viego tool with an item slam. So
yes.
it's a strong opener, but you're already filtering for an item and a 2-star unit.
Yeah.
And also hitting Shinzao, which is not guaranteed at all.
Yeah, so then the most likely backup instead of Shinzao, either Loris or these are kind of like
yeah, just some unit you upgraded. There aren't that many wardens.
Yeah, that's the main issue with this opener. You can still play it, but it won't be as good. That is the most ideal setup you can have for that opener, so it makes sense that it is at the top.
Yeah, or also Nautilus. Okay, so it's basically any of these 3 and any of these 2 to pair. And then as far as most common item slams, we have ET, Titans, Botch. I'm surprised Rageblade is here.
It's decent for tempo, I'd say.
I guess you could transition it into Draven later.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this in the chat that if you're gonna stick with Shadow Isles, then this could eventually go on to Gwen later. So the melee items could then be
eventually
transferred
to
Gwen.
Thresh.
We could do and then to Thresh. And then if we do Rageblade, we could transfer it to. If we stay in Shadow Isles, there's no Rageblade holder, right?
Not really, no. You just have to put it on Kalista, but
unless you put it on Kindred. But
right. So
I'm not sure you play Kindred on the final board.
No, I'm not sure either. But that's the only one that uses the Rageblade. That's
I agree. Maybe you're just. It's mandatory to play Kindred if you slam this. Maybe that's the way you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why Rageblade has such great stats.
Yeah, I feel like if you're slamming Rageblade, you're probably pivoting towards something else and just using this for tempo.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we could
The
also
only issue that I don't really like that due to how the board scales later. I don't really like pivoting off of Viego 2 really.
yeah, agreed.
It feels really bad to me.
The only thing that does make sense is if you land a Draven, then I think the transition somewhat makes sense. Is
Yeah,
there
kind of. You're still very far off of Noxus, but yeah, it's not that bad, I'd say.
That's true. Okay, and then we could also slam Callista items. So Shojin, i.e. Where's the dome? We have Shojin, i.e. JG. This also doesn't really make sense, right?
No, it ends up on Thresh. It's not that bad actually. I tried it today. Yeah, it's okay. You're guaranteed Thresh, so you can actually slam Thresh items and you're not really punished for that, so it makes some amount of sense to me.
How strong is Gwen in the mid game? Because you're gonna be without Thresh for a while, right? Or what's the
Quite
earliest
strong.
that you usually unlock Thresh by?
I think the earliest you can unlock it is like 5 or 6.
Yeah, I
Usually
agree. 4 or
quite
5, I
bad.
think. But does Callista want IE? She gets crit from her trades, right? If you play Vanquisher.
Right.
It's not the worst, I'd say.
I mean,
It's not good,
most of the
but it's
time
not
not
the
that
worst.
bad on the crit rates, but I think if you can, you probably want other crit items.
Yeah. Hodge is much better, for example. But I think you just slam whatever gets you there. So you just slam whatever items actually get you to where you want to be.
Yeah.
And you end up figuring out how to resolve them. I don't think this comp wins that often. Kalista doesn't seem to be that strong. Thresh too, yeah. But as you're aiming mostly for a 4th or 3rd, maybe a 2nd if you really high roll Thresh, I think you can just slam whatever and just figure it out later. That has been my experience on this with the.
I think ideally you want to completely pivot into a 5-cost board, right? The Callista items go into Senna, but I mean, because you can Thresh, Ornn, Yorick, and then Braum, and then just play a backline with whatever items you hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I mean, it's of course very, very expensive.
Okay, so we can even have JG here. Guardbreaker. I mean, it's just slam anything, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll share my notes with you guys. Or actually, I can just copy a link. Chat if you guys want to follow along here. Okay. So next we have this one. Jarvan, Philios, Fiona, Zoe. I actually played with without Jarvan here, like this board, and I was able to full streak stage 2 and part of early stage 3 with this pretty easily. I think Jarvan's just there for probably the attack speed buff. I was having a hard time figuring out what to put here. I think at some point I was just playing 2 like Zoes. But yeah, this seems like reasonably strong. And then it's super flexible because you could slam anything. Like Rageblade is pretty common. Rageblade and Shojin are both good. I feel like because you could. I slammed Shojin, which could angle me towards like fast 9. But the cool thing about even Rageblade is you could then go towards what is it? Yanara or like Draven reroll, and then because you have the Leona early, you could even this could be one of the rare situations that you try unlock Azul if you happen to high roll it. But But otherwise, I think it's like a fast 9 angle if you can full streak early. I don't know what you guys think.
I think in general, planning to pivot into Yunara is not the best. I know you can play without Kennen and Kobuko, but I think you can get very easy stage 4 figuring out your board if you don't have them unlocked. And just saying, okay, I'll pivot later. I don't think it's that feasible. I do agree that both Shohin and Ginso are some of the best slams because you can even play Fast 9 Ani with Ginso and it's really good. So I think both Shokin and Ginso sound really good to play almost anything. Maybe not Shunara, but yeah, I agree. Mostly agree.
I saw both Dish Soap and Setsuko in their game histories today have non-Freljord Yonara games that looked like they were almost like Fast 9 tempo without Freljord or Vertical Ionia in it. I don't know if you guys have seen them. Because that could be an angle that you like do something weird with it.
Yeah, I think you need the XP of the gold or the gold one, right?
I didn't see it, but I did hear Dishop say that he really likes the gold one.
Yeah.
So I imagine it might just be from the gold Ionia.
Yes, and if you're doing that, you should be starting the game off with that, I think.
Yeah, for sure. You need the Ionia opener for that.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, this opener is just really strong because Leona and Zoe are really strong. I think what you play from it, I mean, it's just what you hit, I guess. What other units you find.
Alright, so yeah, this does not seem normal for the next stage. What is this?
Yeah, good question.
So can transition into Fast 9 AP Flex if streak hard to pivot into Yonara without Kobuko and an unlocks. Rageblade, we said the only other Rageblade is I guess Rageblade Shojin could also be any, but could also be Raven reroll
I think
if you happen to hit.
did it like one game ago. He was just doing something like that, flexing Ani with Chohi and Ginso.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. All right, build. Okay, so this goes back to the what are we willing M on TF? And I think we said any tank item or AD item.
Yeah,
Right,
I think quite a lot. I think the line is really strong and like only items that don't make sense in the long run are AP items, but of course, preferably you want to start off with some like Gangplank or Graves items. I think at least.
Yeah, it's interesting that Rageblade is the highest frequency here. I mean, Rageblade's better here, but then doesn't scale well into.
I think it's quite bad later on. It should have some bias. I think there should be some people rerolling TF and just slamming Ginso because of that. But generally, I wouldn't like to slam Ginso. I'd rather just use the AP for Crown Guard. Even Morello, I think, is better.
Are the stats for reroll TF any good?
Not sure.
I doubt it.
4.9. Okay. If you do slam Rageblade, I guess the situation where maybe it makes sense is you have like a TF in the build shop and you're hoping to play TF2 and maybe tempo it with Bilge into a what can this go into Yonara?
I don't think I'm ever willing to spend whatever they're called on other units than the 3 cost or trying to get the balloon item early. I mean, of course, never say never, but then you're still stuck with this Rage Blade. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm ever happy to slam Rage Blade if I'm trying to play this comp, but I mean, it depends on my spot, I guess.
If it's your only item, you might
Yeah.
slam it, but it has to be
If
like
I have
you're
a really good spot for
reinforcing
it,
this comp.
yeah. My spot must be really good for this comp to slam Rage Blade, I think.
Yeah.
It's like one of the only AD items that really doesn't fit well in the late game.
Yeah. I think you always want to play some version of Bilge Water with this. It doesn't make much sense to play any other thing, really.
Yeah.
Are you guys not happy about later, whenever we put Lucian and Kindred on our board, to use Rage Blade on them, or do you just think it's like too far away?
I have a hard time fitting Kindred often, I think. I mean, it can be done, but then you also need to keep the Graves, the Twisted Fate to your board. And usually, I'm trying to 3-star Nautilus, I'm playing Tom Kench, and MF or MF is Gunslinger. So,
one variation that I played earlier today was to use Gunslinger Quick Strikers as the backline. So we keep MF and TF in, and it pairs with Kindred and Lucian in Senna. And then frontline is actually just I didn't play Tom, and frontline is just Nautilus, because he enables quite a few like frontline traits. And then frontline is like Juggernaut Wardens. But
I think it's strong
also
if you're there, right? But
yeah.
Rage Blade in the mid game is, I mean, I guess you give it to GP. I mean, Tom Kench is also just farming a lot of resources. I feel that he farms
Tom Kench is
multiple
mandatory.
items on stage in
And
the late game.
let's pick up really high, so yeah.
Are you feeding Tom Kench always AP?
This show that he does it on
to
feeling.
be honest.
HP or AP, and just how he feels at that point. But he tends to mix it up a bit.
Okay.
Also, do you guys know
I've
if
seen him
the higher cost units give more AP and HP?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes,
This
I
show
do.
kept feeding the 4 cost. He
Yeah,
also
they do.
kept feeding the 2-star copies of the builds for the units he wasn't playing anymore.
Oh.
So instead of selling the Twisted Fate, he would feed the Twisted Fate.
Okay, that's smart. Okay, so no Rage Blade.
I think it all depends on how much money you have, what you can feed and what you can't. But yeah. Ideally it's higher cost units always.
Yeah, and 2-star units also give more, right? I think at least.
Yeah, they do.
I'm surprised. Are we willing to slam melee items?
Yeah, because they're great on GP,
Graves,
and then your mid game is great. And BT is quite good on Tom.
Right. What about Shojin?
I've done it a couple of times. The mid game is hard with it. Like once you get MF, it's probably fine. It's good on Lucian, but it's not that fine. Not that. I mean, I don't like it on GP at all. So I mean, it's not that bad, but it's not my favorite.
JG also seems odd. Probably not. Kraken? Probably not.
No, that
Also
might just
not
be
very
the Raven real stats. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree.
The Rageblade might also just be the Raven real stats, actually. Just people who've already decided they're going to play that version.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Okay. And then this one just naturally goes to vertical. Bilge. What is this? Oh, 4 bruiser. Interesting. I feel like if you're in Bilge, you just stay Bilge. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Alright, next we have Noxus with Draven. Fire, Alawi, Ion, Raven. And if we are missing a Noxus, we could just slam tank item or frankly anything on Scion to unlock.
I really like LeBlanc. I think he's really strong early.
Yep. I like her as well.
I prefer playing around LeBlanc because her items make more sense. It's quite likely you get Mel. The Raven items can become awkward in the late game until you get Kindred. But I mean, Draven is really strong, so it just depends.
Yeah, Draven.
I think if you have Scion, if you have Scion, I think you want to play around LeBlanc most of the time. She's really strong and lends really well to Gus said, I think it was Gus or Master.
Yeah. No, just
yeah. It lends really naturally to just playing Mel. So yeah, I like it very much.
Right, a lot of it depends on your item slams. It's like with Rageblade or Kraken, you could definitely generate a lot of gold with Draven, and you can play Draven reroll as well, or Fast 9 into Kindred.
Yeah, Draven is. I mean, Draven 2 is the one that really farms gold. Draven 1, it's quite. I mean, it's not nothing, but it's quite disappointing. The difference is quite big. He farms 3 gold instead of 1 gold once you 2-star him. So, but yeah, I mean, it works. He's strong, but it's awkward on stage 4.
Right. With LeBlanc, you would really, if you want angle Mel, you really want to slam adaptive.
Yeah, adaptive, any mana item, but preferably adaptive.
I think any mana item is good.
Yeah, Mel. I think Mel's adaptive is the best tier item by far because of the drain effect. You get the additional mana from all sources. I think it's a pretty big diff on compared to Shojin and Blue.
Yeah, I think ideally it's double adaptive and then 1 damage item, but
I agree. JG preferably.
Yeah, I think so.
Also, even with Draven 1-star, I haven't really played this opener, but I assume with this guy, it's kind of like all the summon traits in the past, right? Like you should usually be able to streak with this if you have like a Rageblade or Kraken.
Yeah, Noxus is very stable all the way to stage 4 actually. 7 Noxus on stage 4 is really stable. Just the Atacon unit is really strong in the early game.
And I actually think 3 Noxus is not that good, at least not as good as previous summon traits, but I think 5 and 7 are really, really strong. 7, I think 7 is most of the time your best board on stage 4.
Yeah, I like playing like 7 Noxus on stage 4 and then going fast 9, or not the fastest, but
yeah,
it's really stable.
But going 9 and just swapping the board there.
And then just playing some legendary board, you can drop almost every unit. You can just drop down to 3 Noxus.
Interesting. Have you guys tried the Atacon gold augment where he gets scaling stats?
I've not tried it myself, no, but I've seen it a lot.
Yeah, I've seen it. I don't think it's good.
The problem is that you're forced to stay in 7 Noxus, which you really don't want on stage 5 and 6. And I mean, if it gives you like a 2-star unit or it gives you a Noxus opener, then I guess your opener will be really strong, but it's not amazing in my opinion.
What do we think of using, if you knew for sure that it would give you 2-star, and let's say, I think maybe you would need Draven to justify this, and you have a Draven slam. I know this is a lot of ifs, but let's say you knew that you could be strong relative to the lobby for those reasons. What about knowing that you could generate gold and streak? You try to go like level 8 with vertical 7 Noxus with the intent of going fast 9 and dropping out of it. Like basically you view it as an econ augment.
I don't know. I haven't tested it myself, so I don't know how much stronger you become.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I did take
kind
it
of
once.
like 2-trick.
Was that?
You kind of think of it like 2-trick then. It's like kind of an econ augment because you're taking it to streak.
Yeah. And it makes you really strong in stage 4, right?
Yeah, but you're strong without the augment already. And you're not getting that much gold compared to 2-trick. I think it's like 1 Ornn and a 2-star Briar or something, or 1 Ornn and 1 Briar. So, I mean, I think if you have this augment, you really want 7 Noxus. But, I mean, I haven't tried it. I don't know, maybe.
Okay.
But 3 Noxus, Atakan does next to nothing. I mean, already on stage 3, it's really weak. In late game, it does almost nothing.
Okay. If we were to slam IE here, what would we be angling?
I mean, if you're fast 9, you can just play Senna. Doesn't really matter if you have Gunslayer or Gunslinger. But
Although odds are we actually gonna streak with IE? I guess it would be on Briar, not Draven, I assume.
it's also not great in Briar. I don't know. I haven't tried it.
Even like just generally speaking, I feel like IE is not that good right now. There's
Yeah.
no
No, I
3-cost attack caster in the game, so like the mid game with IE is so awkward in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and late game kind of as well. If you're not getting to Senna, then I guess you're forced to play Yunara.
Okay, so IE no
I
good.
mean, MF, I guess.
We could do melee. What about melee items?
I think you're kind of angling Slayers at that point, because there aren't that many. Or
mean,
Nectin, I guess.
They could go on Mbessa for like stage 4, but I have not heard great things about Mbessa, nor had
No.
very good results.
Okay, so we can go towards basically Slayers, Velvet, or Mbessa, or also Warwick, although getting Vise on this line is not very natural transition.
No, you would have to natural a couple of Vice. And even then, it's kind of hard.
Yeah. Okay, so it seems like this opener, we pretty much just want either Draven Bow or like LeBlanc tier item.
Yes.
And the whole point of playing this line is ideally we are streaking early game because of the strength of Atakan and using that tempo to try to get to fast 9. What's the backup
And also the strength
plan?
of the units.
Yeah, like what's the backup plan if we can't get to 9?
Well, Mel doesn't need to be 9, right? You can just roll an 8 for Ambessa and then use Mel to go 9. It's not ideal, but Mel 1 is quite stable.
Okay.
And, I mean, the thing with this board is also that Sion and LeBlanc, and basically all the Noxus units, are just really strong on their own as well. So it's not just Atakan. I mean, I have full streak with LeBlanc 1. It's quite strong.
Yeah, that's another reason you need to streak with this, because Sion as a unit, like in the early game, is actually not that strong compared to the other tanks. But with a lot of takedowns, that's when he starts getting really strong in the mid. So I think this opener really relies on you having good item slams and streaking.
Yeah, it's a tempo opener for sure, but it's not hard to tempo with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Any
agree.
other comments on this one before we move to the next one? Okay. All right. Briar, Kog'Maw, Kiana. Where's Kiana here? Oh, Slate. Okay, so this. Why is Rageblade always so high? Okay. I would have assumed that this was more of a Kog'Maw line.
This is a Slayer line. If you play this opener, you're trying to play Aatrox, I think. At least for me. This is like how I got to Aatrox in the Aatrox patch.
I mean, I think it's the only opener you can actually play Slayers from.
Okay.
I think I also prefer Aphelios most of the times. Depends a bit on your
Yeah, for sure.
void item, but this my unit does nothing.
So this should be a tank mod for this to be justified.
Yeah, but then tank mod and choke F2, I think. And I mean, I don't know. It might just be Aphelios.
You're not gonna have Cho'Gath 2 usually and 2-1, right?
I mean, it's kind of needed if I'm. I mean, you need a lot of upgrades to justify playing Slayers.
Okay, so this Blitzcrank Aphelios one is probably more consistent.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've played that one as well. You just need to upgrade his units. You need to streak.
Okay, so it's either like some combo of these.
Yeah, I mean, you can play Aphelios with Cho'Gath as well, of course.
Okay, or Force Slayer. Also be Rek'Sai. Okay, so then item slams. It's never Rageblade, right?
Rageblade is not terrible on Aatrox, but it speeds up his animations. But I'm not too impressed with it, but I've heard people talk about it. It's not the worst item, but I wouldn't slam it early because it doesn't really do that much on these units.
Velvet's items are Kraken QSS GS, right?
Yeah.
It's like ideal.
I think you'd rather
That's
slam
something
all of them. All of them are better than Ginso, and I think even Titans might be better than Ginso.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't really like it, but I've heard people talk about it, and I've seen it, and I've used it, but I mean, but I'm not too picky in this line with my items. I think you just need to streak with melee items.
Yes, I agree.
This also relies on you having a Kiana 2 or a Briar 2. Like this doesn't
Oh,
seem
for sure.
playable without.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Preferably
I don't know
both.
if you've seen. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen Jungle Book video about comps, but he talked about this comp and he said it was mandatory to have both of them because the line isn't actually that good. I think the only condition which this actually is great, I'd say, is Darkin Bow, which is really strong early game and it scales really well. But other than that, I wouldn't want to play this.
Yeah, that's what Brosif said too.
Yep.
Okay. This is kind of fake. I guess we could talk about Ionia opener in general.
Good.
Specifically Ari. I think Ari is just completely broken. At least for with the golden XP one. I think I played it twice and
extremely strong.
It's like easy top 2 for me both times.
Yeah.
As far as slams go, I think it's just anything. Ideally, it's just tier items. Oh, I guess this is also can play into Yunara for Jhin.
Yeah, if you have Jhin, he transitions really naturally into Yunara because they use mostly the same item, so I also like that.
IE also, I mean, IE I guess is okay. Yunara can use it okay, but you definitely don't prefer it. That's only if you have a Jhin too. BT, I don't like this, right? Have you guys played around Yasuo at all?
Nope.
No, the real line is not real. That I do know. I think Yone might be quite strong, but Yasuo isn't.
Right. So this is basically Yunara, Jhin slam with bow into Yunara, or Ari tier into Fast 9 AP Flex, or probably Freljord Invokers.
think this is one of the openers you can consider Rice, but you need a really high roll. But I've done it a couple of times. Rice can still win, but you need to get there. And I think this is one of the only openers that can get there. But
Sounds reasonable.
I mean,
I don't know how good Rice is, but I do agree what he said.
It's kind of just, again, you still need the Shurima, I think, for Rice. And you just need to get to 9 and be a bit healthy. But I don't know, with how strong Annie right now is, it might just be better to try to play towards Annie. But if Rice is playable, then it should be from this opener.
Okay. Anything else for this one? I have not seen anyone play this. Have you guys?
No, I think you really don't want to play 3 Freljord early on. Ashe and Sesh is okay, but Ashe is really bad, and I think you'd rather play Invoker most of the time. Makes most sense.
Yeah. It seems like if you were gonna play this, people are slamming Rageblade on Ashe.
In that case, I think they are just playing Ashe Trinda.
Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna skip this one, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, Piltover. Have you guys played early for Piltover if you get lures?
Yeah,
Once,
I've played
but
any
in
Piltover. Yeah, Piltover is pretty. 4 Piltover is pretty good. I would say though it's pretty rare you can get 4 Piltover. So most of the time you just play around Caitlyn and Vi. Because Oriana, unless you have AP items, she's not doing that much. So, and the 4 Piltover thing isn't that good in itself. So you might just play strong units like a defender and a long shot. Caitlyn to me is very, very strong for a lot of reasons. Mostly because people kind of forget you can just do the Caitlyn Jace positioning and scam a lot of rounds. So if you have item, I think Caitlyn is the only unit I'm happy to slam IE on right now in the game, early game. Because if you have a long shot and you position well, you're just guaranteed to kill the carry. So, I mean, she can. You can actually streak with just 2-star Caitlyn and a bit of luck, I would say.
Are there any Piltover mods for 4 that you are willing to play for without like defenders and long shot?
I'd say the 2 best are the damage amp one and the mana one. The other ones, I don't think they really do anything.
Image amp. Magnetron
And
coil.
these ones, if you have any of these ones, you can even consider playing the TX comp. That's mostly what I do when I have this line.
I think there's some
TX
really
is
broken combos that might justify 4. I think you need to have a good combo one.
Okay. And then so Shojin, I assume Rageblade we're not willing to slam, right? Are we?
I don't think you want to slam Rageblade unless, yeah, I don't know what kind of transition you can do later. I mean, technically, I don't know if you have Rageblade GS. I guess you can still. I don't know. It's a free case at some point if it's on. I don't know if you want to if you get AP items later and you're forced to play around Kai'Sa, maybe. But I mean, it's very situational. I would say, yeah, it's mostly AD items, mana items, and then I mean later on, if you try to play around TX, you can slam AP items for Seraphine later. And if you have AP items from the start, that's the moment you're pretty happy to unlock Oriana, definitely. Or just
I think she's good with items.
Oriana, I think she's okay. I mean, if you have like Shojin spell crit, I mean, you just play Caitlyn if she's 2-star. But I think this opener you need Caitlyn too, for sure.
I think if you have AP items, you just don't hold these units.
Yeah, too. That's true. I mean, if Caitlyn is your only upgrade, I think it's fine. And you have a Vi, because you can just tempo. Caitlyn can win you some rounds. You have Vi, so if you find Nico, you can play with Nico, and later you just play basic AP with Vi Nico.
Oh, okay, yeah. So then we could be slamming JG on Caitlyn just as a placeholder to then pivot into AP later.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
If you have Vi Nico, you could also play Cog, right? Vi Nico, Cog Kate, and you have 2 Longshot, 2 Arcanist, and AP could go on him instead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Cog is in some setups he's pretty decent.
Maybe.
Okay. Anything else for this line?
Oh, just what I said earlier. That I think you need a good combo of 4 and 2. Those that work synergistically that help you cast more, and then you have the Demacia 1 on 4. I saw Bosso skills talking about that. I think if you have a mediocre combo, you just never play 4 and just play actual traits. As we were saying, like Caitlyn, Bai, Nico, Kog'Maw should be much stronger than the other board.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think most of the time, if you have AP items, unless you high roll some Vi and Loris, then you're happy to eventually play around TX, because I mean, if you get naturally some pairs, it's pretty easy to get TX.
Yeah.
And then AP items go on Seraphine. But if you have but most of the time you'll just play basic AP fast 9 or fast 8 with Seraphine Mel, Seraphine, stuff like that. But with AD items, I think you can very much consider playing around TX. And if you get there, it's very, very strong. I mean, I think TX is like, it's just completely broken.
How well does this scale into mid game? Or are there any other AD holders for Caitlyn in the mid game? Because I feel like she's really good in stage 2, but then stage 3, as there's more units added to the board, her strength kind of goes down a lot, and that's still a good amount of time before you get to T-Hex, right? Like without a Piltover emblem, what's usually the earliest you're unlocking T-Hex?
If I play around TX, that means I have a good spot for it. So I mean, some pairs, eventually some upgrades. I mean, I never play this. If you don't have Caitlyn 2, you just never play this. So Caitlyn 2 is not the issue, and then some pairs, and you might just, when you roll, you just get your stuff done. I mean, you can get it early stage 4, basically. That's most of the time. When I play around TX, that means if I have a good spot for it, most of the time it's early stage 4.
And
that's why I can just basically skip level 8, because I unlock TX pretty early.
If you're playing around Caitlyn until you unlock T-Hex as your main carry, I assume you're usually losing mid to late stage 3 through basically until you unlock T-Hex. So are you usually like at 30 HP or so when you unlock T-Hex?
Most of the time when I play this, so I'm pretty well. I have pretty much. I have a lot of HP at this point, because, as I said, you can easily scam rounds with Caitlyn.
Mm-hmm.
People don't really pay attention to these kind of things. You just have to. What I do is I hide my positioning basically, and at the last moment I just switch to the Caitlyn Jace one, and people don't really anticipate at all. So you can scam a lot of rounds, and I would say Caitlyn is with items like Shojin Ai and I don't know GS. If you have 3 items, Caitlyn, she's very like she does a lot of damage. My Caitlyn sometimes, if you have 4 Piltover with the damage M1, you can do like 10k damage with Caitlyn 2.
Mhm.
So if you have some frontline upgrades, I'm not very worried about HP. I think you won't like full streak, but I think you'll be healthy.
Okay.
And if you're not, I mean that's the that's the hard part. But if you're not healthy, maybe you just roll until you get Seraphine 2. Yeah, like you roll pretty deep, and Seraphine 2 TX1 will be enough to just stop rolling. And I mean, you basically your HP tells you how much you have to roll once you unlock TX. Sometimes you don't need to roll; you just go straight to 9, and sometimes you need to roll more, basically.
Right. And given that we are going to be playing around Caitlyn 2 for a while, what else are we willing to slam here that would eventually maybe even go on T? So like, would we be willing to slam like QSS and Hodge if we have IE?
I think these items I'm not sure why these items seem like to be good on TX, because to me TX is very full AD items and just full burst.
QSS is extremely good on the hex. Hodge is good as well.
I guess.
I think it's hard. In general, I wouldn't be leaning this line. I think most of the turns you have other units to hold that are better than Caitlyn, and if you end up in this opener, I think it's a very niche scenario, and you should probably be holding other units.
I think you only commit to TX if you natural a lot of units. I think if you end up in this opener, you might want to play Warwick, actually. I think this transition is
I
quite
agree.
I
easy to
think
do.
Warwick is much better.
You can also
And then
play
if
Warwick.
you high roll a lot of copies, you get lures to fight to whatever, and you're confident that you can hit TX really fast, then you can consider this. That's how I would do it.
Yeah, definitely. So I would say you don't. I mean, if you could actually slam Hodge, it's not bad since it could go on Warwick. But I mean, I would just slam full AD on 1 mana and full AD on Caitlyn, and then it can go on TX or on MF later. But basically full AD. I mean QSS. I don't know the stats, so I can say, but I always play TX full damage, and it always goes pretty well. I mean, the unit is so strong. I don't think QSS is mandatory. I think it's probably very good, but I don't think it's that important.
I think it's mainly good for the CC immunity combined with the crit chance. I think you don't
way
want
too much CC.
I think you just don't want him to get CC'd, and it gives crit. So combined with IE, it's not that much less damage, I guess. That will be my guess.
Yeah. The CC immunity sounds pretty good, but I mean, I don't think if you want to play TX, you don't have to have QSS. That's the main thing I would say. But if you can slam QSS, obviously it sounds pretty good.
If you're gonna pivot into Warwick from this, what would you do with like Shoju? If you have a tier item, what would you do with this?
MF and then Senna.
MF.
It's final Senna. I think Sojin it's not the best Lucian item, but it's not the worst.
Okay. Anything else for this one? All right. Oh, this is Oh, they just updated the data. Oh, all the orders just changed. We did not go over this one, right, Bard?
What is that? Scion Bard?
Yeah.
I mean, do you even ever play this if you don't have Scion box?
Probably not.
I mean, to be fair, on live, I've never seen anyone play this. I still see Bard Ishtal, but I haven't seen any Bard Scion.
Yeah,
I saw it once today, but it fell off a cliff for the guy. He did quite well until the end of stage 4, and then he just started losing everything.
I think it's like if you don't really have a good spot for anything else, I think it's a pretty easy top 4, especially early in the set where you're playing against noobs. But yeah, it definitely does fall off a cliff. But sometimes if you can't win streak, that might be your highest AVP, right?
Yeah, but unlocking Bard is expensive, so you do kind of need some augment to allow it, I think.
Yeah, the thing is, if you have the augments that enable you to go Bard, wouldn't you just play maybe the Ishtal there, or just play just something else like if you have Epoch, just play. I don't know, just play fast 8, fast 9, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Are you willing to play the Ishtal one if you don't have a Milio on 2-1?
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
fine,
know.
bro. Just
Maybe
I think so.
maybe
start Excel on like 3-2. It's fine. If
It's
your
still
opponent is
after
like
the
good
nerfs.
enough.
I see a lot
I
of
feel
people
like
just
after the
with
nerfs-
one. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I feel like after the nerfs, I played it once, and I just felt like I needed the Brock way earlier than the guys needed before the nerfs, I guess. So I don't know if you'll survive until Brock, if you started on 3-2, I guess. I mean,
I think the board is still good enough. Even without Broke. I played like a lot actually, like with like a lot of like top 1, top 2 finish.
Yeah, I might just have to try it again, to be honest. I haven't done too much testing with it. I think it's for sure way higher cap, though. I don't think that the Aphelios Scion board cap's high at all.
Yeah, so this is really dependent on having Scion early. All right, so we can Bruiser, Bard. Otherwise, I mean, if you have if you have free rolls, the Bard in and of itself will still be positive ROI on like that free roll usage. So you could just tempo this. You can kind of flex between Excel Bard or tempo depending on your item slams.
I think in a world where loss streak isn't as bad, you're almost always supposed to unlock Bard, because he generates a lot of rerolls just by losing on stage 3. But assuming you have an argument for it, but for example, patience is a virtue. You get Bard for free, and he just on stage 3, I think he generates 2 rerolls per loss. So it's just another silver argument for free. But I mean, right now you don't want to lose, right? The 2 lose streak. But I think with patience is a virtue or Calc loss or something, you almost always want to unlock him if you're going to lose.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
So if you
Also like about Excalibur, I think you're not allowed to like commit Excalibur like half and half. Like if you wanna play it, you need to actually like commit from 2-1, because like the early con is like pretty like important. Like when I commit playing Bard from 2-1, I just sell everything. Like if I have like maybe Nico Orb or like Kiana 1, Nico 1, I just sell like everything else, make the econ, and just hope I can hit either like the Loris or the Melio from the carousel. If not, then I just roll for it on maybe like 3-1 or something. Since like you need like maybe 2-3 turns to actually like start getting the board going, because you need to unlock the Oriana first. But yeah, the early econ is like really valuable, especially if you play Bard from non-econ opener. Like sometimes, I think there was one game I took like Radiant item onto one, and I played Bard because like I got a Melio orb, but I didn't get like the Nico and the Kiana and stuff. So in the end, I think I started the lose streak. I mean the Ixtal still on maybe like 2-6 or like 3-1, and I still managed to go first. I think that game, but yeah, the early econ is like really big on Bard.
It seems like you could even, if you have something like Trade Sector, literally full sell everything except Bard.
Yeah. You probably roll for it on like just before carousel though. I don't think like maybe at the start of the set I tried rolling for it onto one, and it nukes your econ too much, I think. I think even like losing one roll each from like 2-1 and 2-2, and just roll for a Bard on like 2-3 is like worth the trade-off, I guess.
Yeah,
of
I
like
agree.
making earlier intervals.
Two,
Yeah.
2-1, your econ is just gone. You're never. It takes way longer to recuperate that.
Yeah. Maybe with like if you already have like Melio and Kiana, and you wanna take like Epoch and just roll for the Exalt one, maybe that's like a bit better. But yeah, normal spots, just like do it before carousel.
Okay. In the case that we are playing towards Ishtal Bard, we just want traditional AP slams first, right? Yeah.
Pretty much,
Yeah, but I think you prio tier more than Rod, I think.
Okay.
Since the tier kills like a lot of extra components, like extra
Yeah.
sword you can kill with tier, yeah, and like stuff like that.
Yep.
Okay. Alternatively, if we do have the Scion, we can either slam AP items for Bard, or we can slam bow items for Aphelios. When I had a coaching session with Brosif, he actually argued that bow items for Aphelios is higher prio than the Bard items, because until you get the 3 stars up, Aphelios will actually be stronger.
I completely agree with that. Both in my experience and what I've seen, Aphelios seems to be much more stable stage 2 compared to Bard.
It's just more annoying because you can only really play this guy on like level 6, because you want to play 4 bruiser if you hit on 5. 4 bruiser and the Bard, yeah.
Okay.
On the same note, even though you prioritize Aphelios item, I think this board becomes extremely bad if you don't have also 3 Bard items. I think you lack way too much damage, and the backline access that is in the set will just kill Aphelios and you will lose the fights. So I think you need to click some items, augments, in order to play this line.
The ideal augment
preferably
flow is 2-1 econ, 3-2 item, and then 4-2 either more items if you have 3 stars, or combat.
Yeah. But I think for like 2-1, maybe like even like a mix of like econ and like item is like the best. Maybe something like the lifting competition or something. I played it from that spot. Seems like it like gives like some econ and some items also. Maybe like with like pure econ to 1, it might be hard to get your carries and like tank items by like stage 4 maybe.
Doesn't that grief your econ so much though? Like, how often? It sounds like in Anande that you're rolling for Bard with actual gold a non-trivial amount of time, like not free rerolls.
I did it because my spot was like I got like the lifting competition with like Shen2 and like Sion pair, so like I just clicked it. So, but yeah, I feel like you should be more open to like playing Bard if the spot is good, regardless of nuking your econ, I guess. Since you can just delay your 6 to like maybe 3-5 if like really your spot is good, like your items and your copies, you know.
Okay.
Because with like pure econ like Trace Sector, you just kept super low. I don't think you will be even able to compete like in against like proper boards.
Yeah, because you want to have a
Especially
3-item carry in stage 3.
if you slam like Arc, I think Bard can still win rounds until 3-5 if you have like Arc. Because like the fights go into overtime a lot of the time.
Okay. What are we willing to play with Bard if we are not playing Bruiser Bard and we're not playing Ishtal Bard? I guess Yonara?
I played Bard with GP just now.
I think you're just using him for the
Yeah.
econ then. You just go
econ
8.
only.
Maybe you can use him to like roll for fight 2 to unlock Warwick or something, but it's not really a game plan. Then it's just the econ.
I don't think it matters so much.
Maybe you can open until like 3-2 and like stabilize with like Bilgewater or yeah.
Oh, maybe Draven.
Sounds fine, yeah. But
reroll?
I've seen it a lot, but I think it just caps low.
Mm-hmm.
You get to save a lot of HP, but a lot of times I think even when you 100 streak, you bleed to 4th from the people I've seen who like do it in my games.
Yeah, and also the builds of the units are very contested, right? Hitting Nautilus 3 is not going to be easy, I expect. Most games there's like 2 players playing builds order at least.
Yeah.
So pretty much don't play non-reroll Bard. Because the problem with Bard is you want to play him on your board to get the econ advantage, but then you're probably not going to be streaking for that reason.
Yeah, I think for loss streak it can work, but for win streak he also doesn't generate that much gold if you win. It's a lot less than if you lose.
I think, but like if you have pairs and you're willing to commit to win streak, you might be able to get away with like rolling for Bard plus your board upgrades on 2-3 and like start winning from there, and then you play Bard for like the future econ, I guess. Like the stage 3, stage 4 rerolls.
Yeah,
going
so
to 9.
like stage 4 loss streak with Bard is like 30 gold. But that's
like
assuming you're really happy. Or yeah, it's 3 free rerolls per round.
Oh, 3-3.
Stage 3 is 2 free rerolls. If you lose. But I guess the challenging part is it seems like you're not going to get to 9 with this. So then you're trying to play a level 8 board, which is basically like Lysandra, Yonara, I guess you have these items, and like Warwick. But Warwick, you wouldn't have item slams for Warwick here.
And by the time it's stage 4, even if you use your like real gold, you'll have made it back, right? If you lose all of these fights, then the rerolls are worth more than the gold you lost.
Yeah,
so you can make it to 9
in like
maybe.
econ opener, yeah.
Especially in econ openers, then it's, I mean, you make it back really quick. But even if you nuke your econ for it, if you lose off stage 3, that's probably more gold than you would have had if you didn't roll.
Yeah, the main problem is you're probably not going to be super healthy. And a lot of times to get to 9, you got to sack some rounds in stage 4.
Yeah, I mean, I think when lose streak becomes good, then Bard is going to become a problem. Because I think everyone is just going to unlock him to lose streak. But right now it doesn't work, so.
Okay.
Yeah, it might actually give you like like a chance to come back in a way. If like the heroes make you hit your entire board on like 4-1 if you're playing like Lissandra or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's
And then you like
so
slow
many
streak into 9
rerolls.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a silver augmented.
There might be more.
True, yeah.
All right. Anything else on Bard before we move on? Okay, I think we already covered Draven, Ionia, Piltover, Freljord we skipped. Okay, I guess this one.
Demacia opener.
All right, so this will be AP slams, preferably on Anivia, right? Over Sona if they're both 2 stars.
I think I like Sona.
I like
more.
Sona better.
I like
You're
Sona
playing
more in
Ron
Demacia because
Demacia.
with the
okay.
the mana
Yeah.
prediction. Sona 2 with 2 items, even just Shojin or any mana items. Once Demacia proc, I mean, she's pretty strong.
Anivia only feels good with like a chill on your board,
Yep, I agree.
like Nico or
Yeah,
something.
with Nico. Nico, she's pretty good. Yeah.
Nico Sejuani, yeah.
What about if it's Sona 1 versus Anivia 2?
I had that exact
I mean,
game and I
just-
still think it's Sona
just put
1.
I think it's
I'm not quite
Nivea
sure
too.
for that one.
I think it's Nivea too at that point.
Yeah, I think it's still Anivia too, but it's close. I don't-
Because
I think it's
Nivea
close,
too,
really close.
she does
I-
like kill units at some point because it takes a lot longer, but she actually does burst damage, and Sona 1 just never gets to the front line.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Sona
don't
just
think maybe
like
they.
there's like spread damage and not focus fire. That's like the main problem.
Yeah.
Without,
I
like,
think this board is also very
API
frontline reliant. Every time I play this without frontline upgrades, it's a disaster.
I agree.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Maybe if you have like a strong, very strong front line, I could see Sona 2 being better. Because if you have like 2-star Jarvan, any Demacia and another defender, then and maybe even an item on Jarvan, then maybe Sona 1 is better because she has time to do things. But yeah, maybe. And she can stall for the front line. But yeah, if not, I would say Anivia 2 is better. But yeah, this opener can be very, very strong. I think you can very much streak. But you need 2 upgrades, one front line, one back line at least. Jarvan 2, Sona 2, honestly, that's a very that's looking pretty good. That's my default
Oh.
Sylas Annie opener, if I can say it like that. I don't think you commit to. I mean, you don't need to commit to anything anyway. We can just, if you want to wall on 8 for Seraphine, it's possible too. But most of the time when I end up on Sylas, it's from this opener, I would say, or Ari. But I mean, Ari is just broken unit, so different.
Yeah, people have been playing also like 7 Demacia with like Zillion and 8. I think it's like pretty good, but you need to cap with like 5% stuff. I haven't played it myself, but my friends say it's pretty fine. Personally, I don't play this opener a lot because like a lot of time if I hit like one Scion, I'm willing to sell the opener to get LeBlanc. So in my mind, I think like the Kobuko LeBlanc combo is better, but maybe if like Demacia is like pretty good, you might be more inclined to play this opener.
Yeah, I tested Demacia a bit today. You definitely want to end on Silas if you can, but it's not as bad as I expected it to be. The front line is really tanky. So, honestly,
I think, like, the main
it
is, like,
did a lot
damage
better
issues.
than I expected, but I still think you want to end up on some Silas any board instead of just 7 Demacia.
No, for sure. You just play 7 Demacia on stage 4 to stabilize and you go 9. And when you have enough money, you can just sell off the guard and the Lux on the Jarvan and pivot off the board.
If there's no like 6 gold orb on on like giving 3 costs, like this might be the best opener in the game in my opinion. Like I've had really good results with this one.
I second
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
true.
I can see
I
it.
think
If you
Sona too
upgrade.
with Demacia, I think she's very, very, very strong. You just need one mana item, and yeah.
I have a question about Anivia with JG. Like if you have JG, do you need chill? Like is it guaranteed to crit
no.
if they're chilled?
Yeah, it is. But I think it's only like one time per chill, assuming you have like 2 stars of chill or something. I've when you put JG on like Anivia, she just crits like a normal unit, I think.
Nanande, when you are willing to, like, if you hit a Scion to switch over to LeBlanc, is that mainly if these are both 1 stars? Like, if they're 2 stars, I assume you would stay.
I think Sona 2 is way better than 1 star LeBlanc. But yeah, maybe not. I'm not sure.
I played before from like Anivia to Sona 1, so maybe that's why. Because like Anivia does no damage. I don't know about like Sona. Maybe with like the 3 Demacia, Sona is better.
The thing is, 3 Demacia is basically free if you have Sona and Jarvan, because you'll get Poppy once you put items on
Okay.
on either one. So
I
if you have this opener, you always have 3 Demacia.
I think I prefer the Noxus, like Scion LeBlanc,
It's like
a lot by far, but it's kind of difficult to pivot into it if you already have all these units upgraded and none of the Noxus units are upgraded. But if I have the choice, I will always play the Noxus, like Scion LeBlanc.
Yeah.
I just think
agree.
I'm biased because Kobuko is like the best unit. Like it's a broken unit, so you unlock it easier with the other side, and you get to play it into like the Swain stuff like more naturally. You don't have to like full sell your board. I think the Demacia opener plays better into like Lissandra, and the Scion plays better into like 5 cost AP.
I don't agree with that. I think Sona is really good into playing. I think 7 Demacia into 1 is one of the best way to get there. So
Yeah,
personally, I think it's the best.
I don't think I would ever play Freljord Evoker or something. If I'm the Demacia opener, I'm trying to play like 7 Demacia into Silas at a 5 cost board. But I mean, I've had a much more consistent time playing out LeBlanc and then getting into a 5 cost board through Noxus.
Yeah,
But I think both boards want to finish in like a 5 cost board.
Easier because like with like the right one, you're more flex. You can buy like Theoric, you can buy like Azir one. Like you get to have options more, I guess. But the trade off is your stage 4 might not be as stable. So yeah.
I think the main thing is more like if you have both are good anyway. Like both are good spots. The thing is, if I feel like I'm in a position to play towards Silas, Annie, I'm always gonna try to play around it, just because I think it's the best endgame board right now. So, and I think Sona is really very, very good to end there. So
I think you're just supposed to play whichever one you upgrade. But if you
yeah,
have neither upgraded, then I think Scion LeBlanc is stronger, just because of the unit cost.
And also because Sion is just a better unit. He's just good. He's just better unit.
Okay, which probably does mean you're playing this more often than this, because the odds that you find 1 Scion are higher than the odds of having a 2-star here and one of these 2-star.
Yeah, you kind of have to have like the whole board upgraded the left side.
Right. Okay. We already went over Bilge, right? I guess we didn't really specifically talk about GP slams, but I think that's probably pretty self-explanatory with AD or melee items.
Yeah.
Echo has anybody really played around Echo or itemized for Echo? I assume this is just the
Nope.
Piltover opener with Caitlyn. Then.
I think it's really bad.
In like PBE, but yeah, since it's bad, you don't wanna be stuck with Echo opener, I guess.
Okay.
I don't think Echo does that much.
We haven't really talked about Void opener. Have people played Void opener? I guess this is where we start getting
Void
to
is bad.
under 50% win rate openers.
Yeah.
I think Void is only good if you can rush to Baron. I saw Marcel play today on stream, and only if you were confident. Like, he played it from complete loss streak, prismatic econ augment, and only if you get to Baron it becomes strong. But besides that, I don't like it. And
It's actually
getting to
not
Baron
bad if you get like the 4-2 giga roll down opener. I mean augment like the 20 something rolls, because like I'm pretty sure this like whole 4-cost board is actually like pretty good.
Yeah,
But you kind of need
the problem is level 10,
the
right?
whole board.
Marcel had
Yeah.
I forgot the name of the augment, but the one that XP costs 3 gold, you get rerolls. And then you can Giga stabilize on 4-1 with Kai'Sa 2, Herald 2, and then you need to just rush to Baron, because Baron is really strong. I think if you get to Baron, you're really comfortable.
Okay, so the big thing here is you should really have a S tier prismatic. Like, it seems like gold and silver econ augments are not enough. You need prismatic econ, and you need 2 void in latest by win.
He said on stream that he only considered it because of his prismatic econ. That otherwise he wouldn't have played like this.
Yeah, people probably play it because they got like a Cho'Gath from like the birthday something, the Disop augment, or maybe like 2 trick or something, and then you're forced to play around Cho'Gath.
Yeah, that can work. Maybe, but you need Baron in the late game.
I think.
Yeah.
Regarding this comp, I think if you have for Void, I think it's really bad. Even if you have like 2 good mods, playing those units doesn't seem right to me. And I think if you have good Kai'Sa slams, it's a good and contesting comp to just go top 4 with. Yes, ideally you play it around hitting prismatic. When you have prismatic augments, which give you a lot of econ acceleration, you can actually get to Baron. But even if you don't get to Baron, I think it wins a lot of fights stage 4 and early stage 5 to justify playing it. But you must play it for a good Kog'Maw Cho'Gath opener. Otherwise, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, I agree. If you have tempo, it can work, because stage 4 is stable, right? That's the same reason he could get to level 10, but you can't loss trick into it if you're not getting to Baron.
Yeah, I would say though, I think Void is one of the best strong. When your opener is very strong, I think it's one of the best path to take, because basically all the units you need are guaranteed. So it's very easy if you're really ahead of the lobby to just farm to just go 9.
Go 9.
Yeah, and basically I like Void start because I think Herald is it's the best tank for cost. In just the fact of just tanking, I think Swain is still better, but I think Herald is very, very tanky. So if I have Kog'Maw 2 and Cho'Gath, I don't think you play it if you have just Rek'Sai. Maybe if you have Malzahar. I mean, last game I played, I had Malzahar, Kog'Maw, and a strong. I had like 2 upgrades of frontline, so it doesn't really matter. But if I have the Kog'Maw 2 and some Kai'Sa items, I'm always happy to play towards Kai'Sa. I think it's very easy to place pretty well with that, with good opener. So I would say, maybe I think I'm just biased by the fact that so far on PBE and on live, Void start always goes pretty well for me.
What items are you willing to slam?
On Kog'Maw?
Yeah.
I think if you want to play towards Kaisa, I mean, I always
I think Ginsu is mandatory.
Marcel is really adamant about needing scaling items, like Ginsu Arch, like stuff like that.
Yeah, Ginsu Arch
Yeah,
to me is pretty important.
Ginsu Arch
And
is very
depending
good,
on your void thing, if you have the void, the Gunblade one, you don't need. I think Gunblade is good if you don't have the Gunblade one, obviously. And if not, just I mean, GS can do, JG can do, any damage can do. But I think Ginsu Arch is pretty mandatory.
Ginsu Arch +1, and then you kind of want Kraken +2 on the guy.
On Belva.
Yeah. Kind of need to take like item augments to be more stable, since like you actually have to itemize like a lot of units on this board.
Although I assume getting to 10 is probably more important than that. Like
If you get to Baron, then he can carry you for a while.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Like if you get
Yeah,
to Baron,
but-
you don't need Belvev items. But I mean,
I've also beaten like Baron 2 because they like take full econ. So
yeah, he's a bit tricky with positioning sometimes as well. He dies sometimes randomly if he walks up too far.
do you know if Marcel's prismatic econ was on an econ encounter as well?
It was Prismatic Party, I think.
Oh, okay.
Right. No, that's not right. I'm getting confused.
Like it kind of reminds me of Kale from last set, where I feel like it wasn't even worth going for unless you were on an econ encounter and then taking a really good econ augment.
Yeah, I don't think it's really like that. I mean, if you want to play for first, I mean, like if you want in Tony and you have to go first, I mean, sure you need Baron, but otherwise, I think 6 Void can easily go top 3, top 2 if you.
I think Marcel explained it in like, this is one of the only loose streak comps that has a chance of winning, right? You need a lot of things to go right, but if you get to Baron, I mean, he won the game, right? So that's why he likes it from like loose streak with Giga econ augments. That's what he said, and I think he's kind of right in that, because I don't think any other loose streak line has like a realistic chance of going first.
Yeah,
but it's risky. It's you can also just go Ave, right? It's not. I think the tempo into normal Void is way more consistent.
By what level or by what stage round are you usually trying to unlock Baron? You guys know?
I mean, he had it on 5-1. That's why you need real big econ.
Yeah, I think it all depends on how much tempo you've had along the game and how much HP you can suck. If you can suck HP, I think you're good. Just unlocking late stage 5, early stage 6, but otherwise you just need to play as much econ as possible and unlock it 5-1 ideally.
I think if you
tempo, you might hit on like stage 6, but
you're going to lose on stage 5 without Baron at some point. So if you have the HP for that, then stage 6 is fine. But if you don't have the HP for that, then you need to hit him in early stage 5.
And if you have good items, Baron is really, really good at 1-star even.
Yeah, he's really, really strong.
Cool, sounds good. For if you're not playing towards Baron, have you guys seen that frequently where you're just trying to go for top 4 without Baron and just playing around with Herald, Kaisa, and Bessa?
Yeah, I think it's a good way to play.
Yeah, from like Kog'Maw opener only though.
Kog'Maw Ginso. Like Kog'Maw Ginso, Cho Bear, another Jugger upgraded. I think you can easily play for top 4 with that. I think you still need Econ. Sorry. I think you still need Econ to unlock Kaisa ideally. Either 4-1. You don't want to go 8 on 4-2 just to be able to actually unlock Kaisa and play straight forward with her. So I think even if you're playing tempo, you need some kind of Econ at some stage to level on 4-1.
And I'm assuming if you're playing that line, you definitely need items. Like you need to have all three of these itemized to be strong.
I think Kaisa and the Rift Herald are the most important ones. But I mean, yeah, at some point you want Belveth items.
I'm actually fine with no Belveth items and then just dropping to 4 Void. If you have you'll have an offensive one and a defensive mutation, and then just one goes on Kaisa, one goes on Herald, and then you just drop 6 and then fill in the slots with like strong units.
Yeah, I can see dropping Belveth, to be honest.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
Void
definitely
has
try.
very good traits. Like yeah, you have Malza. See, if you want to play around Seraphine or Mel, if you have, I don't know, if you have like strong Ambessa, I don't know, you always have Rek'Sai to synergize. So I think it's easy from a Void start to go for top 4 or 3 or even second with what you find, and then eventually drop some Void units and go strong. I think Void and Noxus go pretty well together also.
Yeah.
With Swain, and I mean, yeah, you can even play with Seraphine, the usual Seraphine, Nico, Vi, Swain, and then just play with Herald and like any. I mean, most of the time, if you play Herald with at least one belt item, you'll end up maybe getting Volibear. So I mean, you can just play Volibear. I mean, I think Void is actually pretty flexible, so can just go with anything like honestly anything that can get you top 4, and it works pretty well. Because Herald is to me, Herald is just very good.
You feel like Herald is stronger than like a Eric 2?
I mean,
World
Taric
1,
is
probably not.
I think 2-star, yes, but I mean, I don't know. You can just play both anyway. So I mean, Taric, you can just play Taric anywhere. But I feel like Herald is just insanely tanky. But maybe that's just like it can be just an eye thing, and maybe in fact Taric is better. I feel like 2-star Herald is insanely tanky. I guess it depends on the tank mod. I don't know if tank mods are really like so important in terms of difference, but I don't know.
Okay. All right. Anything else on Void? Let's see. I think we've gone through. Are there any openers that I'm missing? Oh, Yordle. How much Yordle are you guys playing?
I don't think I've played any other on live.
I've only
Oh.
seen Veigar Fast 8 duel.
Vagar Fast 8.
So you play from like the prismatic decap augment, and then you just play like Veigar Fizz on 8, and then you roll until you die on 8 for like 3 stars of like everything. You can roll for like the 3-star 4 cost and like the cannon and stuff on 8.
What would you say was the condition to be able to play that line?
You need to just be able to summon Veigar, I guess.
Okay, so 2 death
But-
caps, but then you were saying Econ augment as well? Or no?
I think you really want to play like the 8 as fast as possible. So like if you're in a good like Yordle spot, maybe you take like some XP or econ to be able to go 8 and like start farming the bags. Or maybe you even take something like coronation or something to play your trade breakpoints faster. The breakpoints really like help a lot.
And I assume WinCon there is like Fizz 3, Vagar 3.
Yeah, probably. But it's actually pretty stable on like 2 stars even. So
But I assume you just like fall off a cliff in like once all the Fast 9 boards come online.
yeah, but it's like played from like Giga Tempo, so
Can you also just
It
play
might be
that
fine,
into Fast 9 then? Like, and then just literally pivot out of all the Yordles, use it purely as an econ engine?
I saw
Oh,
what was it?
I've seen
Coach by Brosef, and
Coach
they
do it
did
a lot
it's
in like TBE. It looks good also.
it can
I
work.
guess
You
it,
get a
it
lot
gives
of
you like
models and items,
yeah,
but
some options on how to play it, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know if he believed in it though. He didn't sound too excited about it. It was mostly. I mean, he was coaching Emily Wang and she was doing it. I mean, she did hit, and you do get a lot of gold from it and items, but it's also kind of expensive to. I mean, not too expensive because you get the Yordles units in your shop, but you still need the econ because you get rerolls and you get items, and you get copies of the units, so that can be gold sometimes, but you do still need the other like econ.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get fast 4 Yordle, your tempo is kind of guaranteed because the upgrades come by themselves. You know, since you are more likely to hit like the pairs.
Yeah, but I don't know how real this is, but yeah, I mean it's being tested, I guess.
Yeah.
So if you were to go that line and you need double death cap to unlock Vagar, you lack mana items, which is what you want for both Mel and Annie.
If you're really trying to do the fast 9, then I think you just sell all your Yordle units. Then it's just an econ trade. You just treat it like a lost streak trade or something like that.
Do you know if when
if
Broseph
your
was
plan
doing it, if he
is
was
to go
going
9,
for 8
I
Yordle?
mean, he was coaching Emily Wang and she was doing it, but she sold everything. She just went into any, just the normal any board.
Did she go into the 8
I don't think
breakpoint
you
or just
unlock
6?
Vagar with like
She went 8
Fast 10
breakpoints,
Yordles.
and she then lost, and then she just saved up the rerolls, farmed the backs. She had Hustler, so she could level to 8 very early to start getting the Yordle backs from 8 Yordle. And then she just pivoted and hold, and I think she might have even like unlocked Silas, but she just did it on a roll down. It was just a normal like late game any board. But Broseph didn't sound too excited about it. I'm not too sure that this is like a real thing.
Did she unlock Vagar?
No, she didn't.
Okay, that's what.
Oh, okay.
Like I think Vagar is a separate thing from like using Yordles to go fast 9.
Yeah, I think so too. But yeah, for sure. But I haven't seen him. I don't know too much about him.
Okay. Okay, good to have that in the back pocket. All right. Any other openers I missed? Are there any stage 3 boards that aren't really related to what we've talked about so far?
I was gonna ask a question about the Sona board. Like on stage 3, if you're playing Sona 2 carry and you find a Zoe, would you move the items over?
I mean, I'm a bit of a Sona hater, I think, but the problem is that Sona costs buff up her entire team, right, with Demacia. That's damage-wise, I think so, yes, but I don't know how much that impacts the Demacia buffs.
Yeah, I assume with Sona's
what's
all
the-
the traits
what's the
active,
question?
it's probably better. Are you referring to Zoe 2 compared to Sona 2? Is that your
Zoe
question?
2, it's instant move.
Well, yeah,
Then
Zoe 2 I think is
not-
obvious. Zoe
Zoe
1
2
versus
is
Sona
insane.
2 is
Zoe 2 is insane. That's
I think Sona 2 is better than Zoe 1. Yeah. With Demacia.
I think inside Demacia, it's probably Sona, and outside I would go with Zoe.
Yeah, this was the Sona 2, and then your mana cost goes down, right? Over time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and I think
then
they get
Invoker
armor and
makes
marshal.
your mana go faster as well. So your every 90 is actually way higher than this over time. And then Zoe 1's actually lower than what I had here because these numbers were all using Zoe 2. So I assume that Sona 2 is much better.
I think outside of Demacia, I wouldn't be too sure about. I mean, it just depends on how many traits you activate, I guess. But I think Zoe is quite strong still, even on 1 star.
I think Sona is only pops off if you play Demacia.
Yeah, I think so.
This can only trigger 3 times, right? The reducing of the mana cost.
Yeah, I think so.
So it would go from 30 to 27 to like basically just say drop by 3 every time, so it goes to around 20. Like that's basically equivalent to roughly increasing her power output by, is that around 33%? Am I doing the math even remotely right?
I think so. I mean, not too sure about it either, but
yeah, plus Invoker. Pretty sure Sona 2 should be stronger than Zoe 1. Although Zoe does give you Shred, but ideally you just play both, right? In which case it would just come down to who you're putting the items on.
Zoe can just go on the board, but I don't think she gets the items.
Yeah.
I think in the mid game I'm more likely to play more frontline though, if I have to choose. I think Jarvan is not that great of a tank in the mid game, and I tend to just try to unlock Poppy and maybe play another Juggernaut or something like that.
Yeah.
Say you have no utility and you have the choice, would you rather play Zoe or Leona?
Most of the times I think Leona, but it depends a bit on mostly on my items. I think if I have frontline items, then I'm fine with Zoe.
Yeah, I think it depends on upgrades too. If your frontline is upgraded,
items and upgrades. The frontline is really important, and I don't think the frontline is that strong with just Jarvan and Xin Zhao.
Oh yeah, you definitely need a defender anyway.
I do think, yeah, that's true. I do think 5 Demacia is a big spike for the frontline as well. They get quite a lot. At least it felt when I was playing that they became quite a bit like tankier. I also think that the numbers you're looking at are pre-buff, unless I'm mistaken, because I think I looked at it today.
Oh,
and I think it's 35 now on 5 and 7.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yes, it is. It went from 20 to 35 on 5 and 7 in Demacia.
Oh, that's a huge difference. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's also what I think caused Demacia to be so strong right now. Because the front, or not so strong, but stronger than it used to be. Because the front line survives really long on stage 4 and 5, early 5. Garen is actually really tanky in his comp.
So this would be your ideal 6 board?
Yeah, probably. But I'm a bit worried about the front line already.
yeah, I feel like defender is so important.
Yeah, defender buffs up your entire front line.
Then
even the non-defender traits.
Like this or this.
Instinctively, I would more play this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if you have to, like, if you really want to make econ, you always keep Poppy over Xin, because Poppy basically links with Swain if you find Swain, or even I mean, if you're really lucky, you find Shyvana. Just play Shyvana. I mean, Wardens are easy to play too, but I mean, you don't really want to play Wardens with this setup, because ideally you want to play towards the Arcanist.
Yep.
So yeah, even items, I think it's mostly like just full mana, one JG, and just full mana if you can, because any is always
any might just want, like, she can even use 3 mana items, and Lux I found quite likes like Nashor JG Shojin as well.
Yeah, and for Sylas, I mean, this guy can just have anything. I mean, he's so strong by himself that he can just you just give him
I
anything.
don't think you're supposed to itemize Galio. I mean, a TG might be fine or something like that, but I don't think you really want to
Yeah,
spend items on
I
him.
don't know. I don't know about that because I never ever unlocked Galio
I mean,
since
he's
like
just
I
a
don't know.
board wide stun. Like, he's really strong just on his own. But I've never felt too amazing about itemizing him, especially when you have so many high quality units that you could like give items to.
When I play Sylas and I can just fast 9, usually I play more like towards Ari, and I don't really buy the Demacia unit. So, but I should try to buy the Demacia unit.
Yeah, I think it's kind of two different lines. I think Demacia's like the line. This version is what you play when you need to roll 8, and then at some point you hope you're rich enough to like sell all the units and get into the any board.
How do you play the any board with Galio? What does that look like? It's Lux.
I mean, you could just completely skip the Demacia.
Oh, wait, can you get Galio in without Demacia?
Yeah, he doesn't need
I
Demacia.
thought it's when they rally, so I think you need it
is
in.
it?
Yeah, I think
I might have been lied to
you
then.
need, like,
I think
at
you're
least
right.
Yeah, you do.
three
Yeah, you're
Demacia.
right. I think
you
I've
do,
been
but
lied to.
to be fair, you have some flex spots in the Sylas comps.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have also started like playing Silas
Something like this?
not in a 6, like not 6 Arcanist Silas, just more of a traditional, something like this, but also just I've seen a lot of people play Silas with Senna and stuff like that. I mean, not only Senna, but I don't think you're only supposed to play him in 6 Arcanist. I think you can drop down to 4 and play some high value, like your 5 cost units.
This seems
when I
reasonably strong.
play when I play Sylas, usually I play Tariq and Senna as the flex spots, I think. And I mean, there's another one. I think.
Yeah. That's like the normal flex version, right?
Yeah, I think I heard I don't remember who, but some streamer, like pro player, also talking about that maybe like 6 Arcanist isn't the highest cap. But
this is not the highest cap.
I mean,
you throw in Senna.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't experimented with
I
it
don't
too
know.
much.
The thing is, like, is Galio strong enough to really make you want to go 7 Demacia to?
If you have him unlocked, I think so. Because it's just a board wide stun. But I don't think this to me seems more of like a backup plan. If you're forced to roll 8, I'm much more happy to roll for Demacia than I'm like happy to roll for some Arcanist board.
He also just doesn't take up a slot, so like even if you're dropping like something for Demacia, you're dropping something for 2 units really.
Yeah, that's right. You don't need 3. Galio counts as 1.
Oh, Galio counts as 1. Okay, so you don't need Jarvan.
Nope.
So yeah, just Garen, I guess.
We can take this out. You just play
and then play
4 Arcanists, and then you could just play like all the 5 costs.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's
Yeah. Do you really do? I don't know. I mean, T-Burst is so tanky that I don't know. In my mind, Swain is always like if you can play Swain,
you could
always
also play on Swain, but I don't really know which units from the Demacia you're supposed to play. But
I feel like I would just do something silly, like just.
I think you could also just do Pulpy Swain or something.
Just take off Tariq and play Garen, something like that. But I wouldn't touch the 6 Arcanists because I feel like they're all good. Like, I mean, Nico feels a bit unnecessary if you play Garen.
I think if you're...
But all the other ones feel like they...
And if you've got Garen, then it's just Silas, right? But... Yeah, I don't know.
And since you sold Garen 2 to unlock Silas, so you would put Garen 1 on your board instead of like a Tariq. You have more chance to already have Tariq 2 if you roll for Garen 2.
What are you saying instead of Garen?
I don't know. I just feel like Galio. I mean, if I can play towards 7 Demacia and then go for Arcanist, I would do it. But usually I'm more like, if I have to roll on 8, I just buy the Lux, the Garens, and then play like 4 Arcanists, 4 Defender, something like that, and then try to go to 9. But yeah, I don't know. Usually, I think with 7 Demacia, I just feel like it's strong, but it's also expensive to. You need all the upgrades for units that you didn't really hold along the game, unless you really wanted to go for Demacia.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
I think I'm more inclined to play this from like the Sona opener, the Sona Demacia opener, and then if the early game went really well, I can just start angling Silas, skip rolling on 8, and if it didn't go well, then you already have a decent Demacia like board, and you can just roll on 8. And in my experience today, I was quite stable on just Garen 2, Lux 2. And then at some point,
Yes,
you try to
yeah,
go
yeah.
9 and cap out
I
the
think-
board.
I think Garen 2, Lux 2 is very good. I never played the 7 Demacia version, but even the version I said like 4 Arcanis, 4 Defender, I always find a way to go 9 from this if I have everything upgraded. But I don't know. I can't say what's best. I never really played towards Demacia. Because most of the time, Sona just, at some point, I just take off Sona and play. If I have Lux 2, I play Lux 2. If I have Airy 2, I play Airy 2. So.
Hey guys, I actually gotta run. But you guys feel free to keep chatting after I head out. I want to just thank you guys for joining me for this. This is super helpful for me.
Yeah, thank you for setting it up.
No problem.
It's been helpful.
Yeah. All right. Talk to you guys later. Good luck on the climbs.
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you. You too.